of course, the whole, like, I don't know, like the kind of the big principle behind Keysi is to use this natural defensive posture,
Right.
as an offensive.
What do they call it again?
Pensador.
Pensador?
Yeah, pensador. So the first thing he was showing me is just real basic, having your basic pensador and move it to this side and move it to this side.
Never even thought about doing that.
Yeah, this is where you block anything coming from here.
Yeah.
You move it.
Because I always thought it's a straight in thing, right? And you get a bit of side protection. I never thought about swinging it over.
Yeah, no, he said move it to here for anything coming that way. Move it to here for anything coming from the other side.
Yeah.
And then here, and you always got these different windows, eh?
Huh.
And using it, you can look around. You know, you can move from looking out this window to looking out this window. You can see in your periphery this way. You know, move it over. You can see in front of you. You can see behind. The only position that you can't see, because it's for multiple opponents, right?
Oh yeah.
So the only position you can't see is what's directly behind you. Okay? So moving, and he says, you know, if you're he's tried having people he just given them the free license to try to hit him. And just using like a windshield wiper from side to side, he's pretty much defended
I was always,
a lot of the stuff.
I always felt like doing that with your abdomen open.
Right.
Because that's where you kind of have a little high block, right? And I mean, yeah, like if you're here, you can kind of.
Yeah. This is the second part. Okay, that's exactly what's coming. So the stance, he said the normal Keysi stance is like 3 o'clock, or in this case it'd be like
Straight like that, eh? More used to be kind of oblique.
Much wider and much more down. It's almost like a modified horse stance.
Your heels are almost lined up, just
Yeah.
a little bit wide.
Yeah, and he said the normal Keysi stance actually has like 11 and 9 or 1 and 3.
Oh wow!
But he says he likes the point, and I do too.
And
I like to have
this is you're almost parallel here.
right.
Yeah, that feels weird.
But you're down. Hey,
Yeah,
you bring
yeah.
your center down, and then you don't feel like, you know, that you're toppled.
I like the GKD stance. That's my favorite JKD stance.
Right. So, in any case, the whole thing with the blocking the abdominals is being able to get low quick, hey?
Yeah.
Because your knees almost, you know, you're really decreasing the distance that they can strike into.
Yeah.
Okay, by being able to get low. And he said, okay, so you got the pensador, you got your basic stance, you got the moving from in the footwork from these stances is a step and slide, right? Step and slide forward, step and slide back.
Yeah.
Right, and then keep a little wider stance.
I don't know how much I'm gonna alter my stance. To be
Yeah,
honest with you.
you can do whatever you want, but and then laterally, same thing. Whatever you don't want to cross feet, hey?
Yeah.
So you're stepping and
Yeah.
sliding to the side.
That's like that's like Jeet Kune Do.
Same as boxing
Yeah.
and all of that, hey? So that's your basic footwork, and the pensador, and then he said they train initially. You train 6 strikes. You train from the pensador. You train jab, and always bring it right back.
Always right back.
Yeah,
Huh.
jab, cross, hook, overhead.
Yeah.
Overhead strike, slap, and uppercut.
This self-defense technique basically. He's like, I don't want to show, I don't want to show. Bam, right to the
Right.
nose.
Right.
This upper palm.
Yeah. So of course there's a lot more, because you get into hammer fists. Eventually, he was showing me some cool stuff where he said, you know, even if you raise your hands like this, if anybody's going to expect anything from this hand, they're going to expect it from this side. And he's saying in Keysi, you learn to do the hammer fist from this side.
Oh yeah, you don't see that.
Yeah, they're not ready for that
No.
stuff. But yeah, the 6 basic strikes: jab, cross, hook, overhand, slap, uppercut. And then he says, once you kind of like get a feeling for doing those basic strikes from the stance, and from the pensador, then you want to practice loading them. And he says, you know, in this case, say someone's punching you from this side, you block here. That's a load for this hand to strike.
Yeah.
If you're able to, if you think you've got an opening from here, and you strike with this, it's called most efficient because the block and the load happened at once. And when you strike, you said you should bring your elbow, you know, like my left elbow, my non-striking elbow that stays at the pensador, should swing around to this side as a block strike to that side. Boom. And then right back again. But say you block and you don't have a good opening for this hand strike, you got an opening for the other hand, come immediately back to that side to load.
Kind of mess with people's minds. What are you doing?
Yeah, but in order to get the body into it, to get the hips into it, you've got to get the loading involved.
Yeah.
The only one that of those 6 that doesn't load from just these twists to the side is, of course, the uppercut, which loads from down.
And that's kind of a non-telegraph punch too. It doesn't really need a lot of loading.
Right.
Like if you're loading your stance, the whole idea is to come out of the guy's sight line.
Right.
So it's kind of like a back fist in that way. It's kind of non-telegraph and a quick surprise attack.
Right. So, yeah. So those are the 6 strikes. That's loading, and there's loading plus most efficient, and then there's just block and load. You know.
I saw one technique where he didn't use his fist. He just used his hand.
Oh yeah.
And so the whole idea of going for the eyes and all that, he just basically did an uppercut with the palm strike.
Yeah. There's a bunch of more strikes where you get into, but he's given us what you would normally train in.
Yeah.
Week 1 in Keysi.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about different things. Yeah, this isn't Keysi necessarily at all.
Oh yeah.
Just things I've been watching that were interesting.
And then he was showing me, like, if you did have multiple opponents, because he says it's best if you can practice with at least like 3 guys, right? So you can have 2 opponents.
Yeah.
And he was saying, ultimately you want to stack those opponents, right?
Yeah.
You want to get the situation
But
where
if they're smart, they're gonna try.
Right. And he said,
Thank you.
He said in that case, the best is to have them in a like a V.
Yeah.
Out from you.
Yeah.
But if they do get on both sides of you, the movement that you're using in Keysi to deal with them is you're attacking from this side, and then you're using a round movement to change your stance to attack from this side.
Yeah.
And so you got to learn ambidextrously everything in Keysi.
Yeah.
Not just learning from, you know, whatever your favorite side is. So, given all that, he says the first drill we should actually try is with the mitts, where one person's does a couple of strikes, very light, very slow, okay, to start off. Very light, very slow. The other person just tries to block them, and then mirror those strikes with their own strikes. So